Hi, welcome back to Herbal Bunny's Pharmacy. I'm Dr. Tamitha Davis. Today I want to talk to you guys about isolating different chemical compounds in plants known as phytochemicals, and are they safe to be taken individually, or do we really need to be taking them as a whole, meaning that we need to take them with the rest of the plant attached? Before I became a naturopath, I would go to a naturopath for just random things, when I had anxiety or having allergies that just won't go away, or having IBS, or just various things, right? That anybody would want to go to when they go see a naturopath or a regular doctor, right? So I would go, then they would give me this supplement that usually costs anywhere between 60 to 100 bucks. And I would look at it and I would not recognize anything. It's just long scientific words and everything. Mainly it was the chemical compounds that they extracted from a plant to form this capsule. And it got me thinking, why are we not taking the plant? Like, I'd recognize dandelion root or burdock root or nettle leaf, things like that. I'm going to recognize that. I'm not going to recognize these chemical compounds unless you've actually studied them. And after becoming a naturopath and studying herbal medicine, I realized that we probably shouldn't be doing these things. Now, I'm not trying to bash any companies or any naturopaths, because we are taught as doctors to give these supplements to patients, just like medical MDs are, taught to give patients medications, pharmaceutical medications. It's all the same, right? But a lot of the pharmaceutical medications have the chemical compounds in them that make them up, that are extracts from plants. For example, we have warfarin, which is extract from the digitalis that is out of the plant foxglove. And aspirin, we extract chemical compounds out of that to make the aspirin. So why not take like the white willow, which is where aspirin was made from, and get that, take that instead of taking the baby aspirin. When I was pregnant, I was told after the 12th week or something like that, start taking a baby aspirin every day to help prevent preeclampsia. Well, instead of me taking the baby aspirin every day, I took white willow bark every day to help prevent preeclampsia, and I didn't develop it. Now, have I developed it if I didn't take it? I don't know, because we can't redo that one. But to me, it makes sense to take the plant in a whole, and I want to explain to you why. Mother Nature knows what she is doing. When we go into nature, we're going to find our answers, right? I'm always saying this. So it doesn't make sense to remove part of that in order to experience or expect something miraculous to happen. All the plants that are around us are made specifically for a purpose. So dandelion root. If you take a look at the soil that dandelions grow in, it's very poor soil. And what that dandelion is doing is roots are going very, very deep into the soil, way down, to pull up nutrients from deep down to bring it up to the surface. And when that plant dies off, the nutrients start getting at the top of the ground, right? It's pulling all its vitamins, those minerals and stuff into that plant to rebuild the soil. Same way with yellow dock. It has deep tap roots and it pulls the vitamins, the minerals and stuff up from that. And then the foliage dies, and now you have those vitamins and minerals on that top layer. Yeah, it's going to take a while for it to rebuild the soil, but Mother Nature knows what it's doing. It's going to take some time. But once that soil becomes healthy, you're going to see less and less of those types of plants growing in that area, and you'll start to see other things growing in that area that doesn't have the deep roots. Well, when you take a look at dandelion, what does dandelion do to our body when we take it? It helps to cleanse our liver. It helps to cleanse our blood. It gives us vitamins and minerals. So taking an isolated compound, an active compound from that plant doesn't make sense. we need to take the plant in its whole state because it has all of those vitamins and minerals. It has those catalysts to help absorb other vitamins and minerals. For example, iron. You can't take iron with calcium unless you have something to buffer. And also, in order for it to absorb, you're going to need magnesium. Well, if you go and you take an iron supplement, you have to take vitamin C with it. Okay, so you got your 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C. Okay, well, you need magnesium. Okay, well, you got to wait an hour or so, then you got to take your magnesium. Okay, but wait. You need a calcium to help with your magnesium absorption. I mean, it becomes this crazy ordeal. But if you just take the plant, let's say burdock root, or not burdock root, but the yellow dock helps you absorb iron. It may not contain iron in of itself, but it helps you to absorb iron from your different foods. Spinach has high iron. Beetroots has high iron. You think of these as their own helper to your body. It's going to help you to get all those vitamins and minerals. So when you're trying to heal your body from these plants, like say white willow bark, then it's going to use all the other constituents, those plant constituents in that plant to help you to absorb it. Now, plants has its own immune system, okay? And let's say echinacea, right? Echinacea works in your body to help with your immune system, right? Well, echinacea also helps in your garden to ward off other diseases, right? So there's certain pests that comes in that can destroy your whole crops. But if you start planting plants that are beneficial, that can provide the pollinators to come in, but also releases chemical compounds to ward off other pests and insects, funguses, things like that, then you want those in your garden, right? Well, those are the ones that you want to take as a whole. You don't want to just take an isolated compound from that. When we start isolating these chemicals, we don't know what kind of reaction we're going to get, right? So it only makes sense to actually take them in their whole plant state. So that way we can actually absorb the vitamins and minerals because it has all the catalysts there. I know I'm kind of talking in circles here, but it's important to understand that we don't want to be taking when I was taking a multivitamin, when my gynecologist had asked me what multivitamin I was taking, she said, make sure you're taking folic acid. And I was taking folate. I didn't want to take an isolated fake, folate. I wanted to take the real deal. I didn't want to be taking folic acid. That's synthetic. And she said, make sure it has, vitamin B12 in it. Okay, well, I want to take a more natural form of vitamin B12. I want to get my vitamin D from the sunlight. They want me to give him a vitamin D supplement every day because I'm breastfeeding. I'm not going to, pass on vitamin D. Okay, I take him out in the sunshine. I don't leave him out in the sun to fry like a crispy critter, but I do want him to get natural forms of vitamin D. And when I take a vitamin D supplement, I want to make sure it's like from mushrooms, for example. It's going to have all those good other constituents to help me to absorb that. So having that as an understanding, you understand the plants. You don't need to know all the chemical compounds and stuff of the plants. You just need to know that you need to take the plant in its whole state. Now, fresh is always best. There's some plants that do work better when you dry them out. There's some that works better as into a tea, or they work better pulling the active compounds, all of the constituents with it, into like either apple cider vinegar or a whole grain alcohol, 90 proof alcohol. There's a glycerite. You can use glycerin that can help pull out the different acting constituents. There's lichen that we have here that has vitamin D in it, but you need to extract it with alcohol and water, then you mix the two. So you need to know some of that, but as long as you're keeping the plant in its whole state when you're taking it, that is what's going to benefit you the most, besides just taking the active chemical compound that it contains, the active ingredient. Well, it may be the active ingredient that science knows is going to help your body, but it needs all the other chemical compounds that comes with it, the phytochemicals that come with it, in order for that to work. I see curcumin is another one that people are just raving about, taking curcumin, but you need pepperine in order for it to absorb properly. It's also fat soluble. You need to take it with some sort of a fat. Okay, well, why not just take the turmeric? Just eat the turmeric, just put it into spices. Yeah, you're going to need larger amounts, but you also need to take, a fat with it or whatever. And mostly when you're cooking with it, you have a soup or something that does have a fat component in it, majority, unless you're vegetarian. I mean, you could add avocados or coconut. But yeah, you don't want to be taking curcumin, because curcumin really isn't absorbed that well in our body when it's by itself. And even with the black pepper, the pepperine in it, it's not as absorbent as if you just take the turmeric by itself. You can grow the turmeric, you can juice it, you can grind it up and put it in the soup, stuff like that. You got to just get creative. So making sure you just take the whole plant. You're going to get more benefits from taking the plant. There are some things out there that can be more effective if you're taking the isolated compound for a short term to get a quick effect, but ideally you want to take, nature put those other chemicals in there for a reason. They're not isolating those chemicals. It's in that plant for a purpose, and to get our full benefit from our natural plants and health and healing, we want to make sure we're doing what nature has designed instead of extracting just one isolated chemical. So if you're going to be extracting, extract the whole plant into a minstrel of some sort. So anyway, that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. He's getting a little antsy. He's looking around. Probably sees a squirrel, like Mom did squirrel. All right, you guys, I just wanted to make a quick video. I know it's been about 10 minutes, but that's my quick, okay? All right, you guys, I will see you in the next video. Bye. Why is it not stopping?